Hello guys, it's been a while. I've been on vacation and I got to get back and get this thing back together, but I was waiting on this thing anyway. I couldn't get the rest of the way together anyway because I was waiting on the South Plane clutch to show up. So here's our new flywheel. You notice it doesn't have a pilot bearing, it's just got like a Teflon bushing in it. And then when you've got there's your disc, single disc clutch. This one's supposed to be good up to 450 horse. But I got to put the rear seal in it, and on this one I don't have the tool for it. So there, I had to shut it off, turn the phone back on so the stupid light would come on so you could see it. But I start them like this. I'm sure that somebody's going to say something on the internet about it, but whatever, or on YouTube about it. But I've done a million tractors over the years out in the middle of the field, out in the middle of nowhere, and I use the flywheel to put my seal in, and I'll show you how to do that. And if they got a wear sleeve, you can start them like this, leave your seal retainer and your seal off, because you'll have to silicone the back side of this, but we'll tap this in real easy with a hammer. We don't want to screw up this beveled edge or the sealing surface on this. But then we'll take our flywheel and we'll start a couple bolts in our flywheel and suck it down, and it'll shove that wear sleeve right on there. So let me get set up for that and I'll show you how to do that. Alright, very important, have a rubber mallet on your wear sleeve. Just kind of get it started real good. Just tap it on there. You don't want to get it, want to work on pretty evenly. I've got like, I don't know, maybe 6-7 of these rear seal installers. Some for 4219 John Deere engines. Got one for 6.7 Cummins, 5.9 Cummins. It's just every time I turn around, I'm doing a different project, and I'm waiting on special tools or buying them, it just never ends. So some of the stuff you can do it without it. So we got that started on there. So get your flywheel. A couple bolts, line up your dowel. Here's your dowel hole for your flywheel. I don't have to lay on the ground so I can see. There we go. What I do is got to get it to where you can at least get a bolt started in it. I don't know if I got it on far enough. I think maybe I do. Try to go straight across from the other bolt. Okay, then get your impact and just go real easy with it, and it'll shove your wear sleeve right on where it needs to be. When you're a field mechanic and you're out in the middle of nowhere doing something, you learn to do things without having every little special tool that was ever made. What I do is I kind of watch the back here behind this while I'm doing this. And I'll work it back and forth. Okay. it back off. See where we're at. Looks pretty good. Okay, you can see where we got our water sleeve pressed on there. It ain't all dent or mangled up or anything. Okay, so we got a silicone, the back side of the seal, but when you're putting the seal on, you got to be really careful that you don't roll this edge of the seal, the lip on the seal right here. Don't roll that lip on there. You got to be real careful with that because you're actually kind of putting it in the way it's not supposed to go on over the sleeve. You got to be real careful with that and just kind of work it in. So let me get silicone on that, and we'll get this on there. Then we'll put our flywheel and our clutch and all that on there, and away we go. You got 2 dowel holes in the seal retainer housing, and you've got 2 dowels sticking out of the rear timing, well, the rear plate here. So remember this edge, be real careful with that. Okay, so now we're going to get our dowels lined up. I think I'm a complete 180 degrees out. Oh yeah, way off. Make sure you cover go around your dowel holes and everything with silicone really good. I got 2 more bolts I gotta find. But that's just the way, guys, you can do that. I mean, I've done a lot of them like that and never had one come back. I think they're 15 foot-pounds. But on a John Deere motor, they don't have these dowels here for the seal retainer, so it's really hard to get away with doing that. You almost have to have the tool on some of the John Deere engines because this housing that we just put on there, you'll bolt it on. There's no dowels, so there'll be a little slop in the bolt holes. So they make a tool that you stick over the crank and it centers the housing. Then you tighten the bolts up, and then you put the rear seal in. But on this with the dowels, it's pretty hard to go wrong, you know. So let's see, watch, get a little closer view of that. That's everything looks good. I mean, we're ready to. I got to find 2 more bolts, torque these down, and then we'll put the flywheel, the clutch on it. We'll put our exhaust on the back, and we're moving along now. So be back shortly. So this your flywheel bolts are torqued down 90 to 100 foot-pounds. I used the original. They had a little plate here, a little spacer on the back side of the flywheel. I used it off there. Didn't say in the directions, but I thought, well, we'll put it back on there. So if you're by yourself and you want to torque these, this is a way to do it. Put you a bolt in the bell housing right here, and I got a chain, little chain with a hook on it, and I just put it through one of the eyelets of the chain here and bolt it to the flywheel. Then you can get your torque wrench, and then it's 90 to 100 foot-pounds is the torque on these. I hooked the wrong way. Yeah, I did. It should catch here a little bit. Got my rotation wrong. I should have went over here is what I should have done, which is easy to do. Dyslexic or something, I don't know. A lot of truck flywheels on truck engines when we used to do clutches out on them. That's what we always did them this way. Let's see, let's put that. Where is that bolt at? Okay. Yeah, now she'll stay still for us. I just kind of work my way crisscross pattern. Let's see here. I put a little blue Loctite on these two. Just go around the whole thing. Make sure you got them all. Now this is the bad thing about this wrench. It doesn't go backwards. My other old torque wrench, it went both ways. I'll get it ratchet back here. Flywheel off, that way get your chain out of there. Okay, so it's flywheel torque down. Yeah, there's no pilot bearing, it's just a bushing there. Looks like some kind of Teflon bushing. Let's get our clutch put on. Okay, give it the clutch. Okay, so let's see what this says on our. I get a sticker here. Clutch fingers must be level before installing transmission. Okay, well, when you suck that in, when you suck your clutch in, it'll level that out. So here's your clutch disc. Let's see, south bend clutch, inch 3/8 by 10 spine hub. Check disc on shaft first. I got a brand new input shaft, so is there a flywheel side or a? I mean, it's gonna have to. Pretty obvious. It's gonna have to go like that. If you put it on like that, it ain't never gonna. the disc is never gonna go against the flywheel. So take your spline tool. Make sure it's in your pilot bearing real good. And here we go. I don't see any dowels on this flywheel. These are torqued to 18 to 20 foot-pounds. Should have left my... Well, I couldn't really do my chain on that one. Have to figure out another way to do that. Flashlight sticking right in my ass. When you tighten that clutch down, it'll suck those clutch fingers in. Kind of nice if they put some dowels on the flywheel where this would stay centered right. Let's tighten these up just a little bit. Okay, let's just make sure we're centered up here. We've got nothing that's really binding us up. It looks pretty good there. Now let's kind of crisscross our way across this thing. Clutch fingers are flattening out now. Okay, let me get my small torque wrench. I'll go ahead and torque those down. So let's go to 20 foot-pounds. Must be ½ inch. Okay, we got a 6.5 inch. Alright. Now that feels a little better. Okay. Straight across. You have to go back and kind of tighten them all over it. If you're pulling that pressure plate in, it'll loosen some of the other ones up. Check them all numerous times. this one loosen back up on me. All right. Now, our clutch fingers look nice and straight. There you go. She's in there. See how good our spline tool goes back in. That'll kind of ensure that we know that we're fitting okay, that our input shaft's going to actually line up when we put this thing together. Alright guys, so there it is. Clutch and flywheel's installed. And next thing we're going to do is start putting all the accessory drive stuff on the front of there, and mounts and power steering pump and all that crap. So putting new donuts on the Y pipe here on the back, where it goes from the turbo to the, comes from the exhaust manifolds to the turbo. I'm going to put them on there, and what you want to do on these is put them on there and put your bolts in. Don't tighten them up till you get it on the till you bolt it to the engine, and then you can twist these to get your fit up right, and then you can cinch these down to where these flanges touch here and snug them up real good. But got our manifolds, exhaust manifolds on, got my water heater hose outlet on there going in the cylinder head. The kit comes with new bolts, so we'll get rid of those, and then we're gonna get this thing on there. But important thing to note is don't tighten those up, because I got the other one loose too, to where it can kind of move things around and line things. You notice this is your drain, this is your return off your turbo, off your bearing housing, and this is your pressure. Good idea if they've been sitting for a while is to pre-lube down your pressure hole with a squirt can with some oil, or pour it in and it will make a mess. But they don't take oil very fast, and they don't take very much. Squirt a little oil in there, and then take your impeller wheel and just spin it around. You'll start to see the level go down in it. Okay, and then we'll turn it over and mount it to our pedestal, and that's pretty self-explanatory. And then we'll put our Y pipe on, and you know, all the stuff on top that we took off when we poured apart. And about all we really got left is stuff on the front end here. Water pump is on. We're going to put our brackets on for our power steering pump and stuff like that. So we're pretty much done with this. We're just going to put that stuff on, and then got to get the transmission finished up, and then hopefully this weekend I'm going to build a fire in this thing. So alright, here's kind of the order of assembly on this. If you put your new donuts on, I still got these loose, these flange bolts loose here, and I got these loose down here. Mount your turbo after you get this set on here, after everything's loose. You can see how that's loose. See how you can turn this now? So you don't want it like that. You want that kind of, you know, everything kind of even there once you get this tightened up. Same thing with this side here. It's pretty much even already. But go ahead and cinch your 2 hold down bolts there in the center here to your pedestal and your turbo, and get everything kind of squared up here, and then you can go along and tighten all this stuff up. It's just so much easier because you'll tighten this stuff up, and then I guarantee you it won't line up here, because everything, all this stuff swivels and moves, and these flanges can move down on the pipe. So that's just kind of the list of where we're going to go there. Intake Y here on, got it. Screw down our intake manifold. Got to get this ground strap out here that's going to get bolted to the body. When you're putting one of these on, make sure that your ground strap's tied to your intake manifold here on one of those studs. Make sure that you're putting that ground strap goes on first, because you got a white insulator right here. Put your ground strap on first. Put your insulator on. I just got the nut on there right now holding it on, but as you can see in this wiring harness, they kind of boogered it all up. I got to put an end on that, and then that other eye will go, after you take this nut back off, then the other eye will go up against the metal part of the insulator here, and then you can put your nut on. But make sure you do that right. If you get them tied together, it's going to melt shit or blow fuses and stuff. So I'm going to put my wiring harness on now, intake air heater relay and the glow plug relay and all that stuff, and I got a new ICP sensor in here, so we'll get going on that. Engine is pretty much assembled. If you guys watch the disassembly video, then it's pretty self-explanatory. It kind of is a reversal of disassembly, but you know, once you get all your intake wire and your turbo and all that stuff put on there, then put your wiring harness on next. And I just basically left my glow plug relay plugged in here, intake air heater relay plugged in. I left all that stuff plugged in, and you know, just took the bolts off here and pulled the whole thing off. So, but we'll get everything back on there. Then you can, after you get your wiring harness plugged in, it's easier to put your wiring harness off first, because these wires are routed behind this AC compressor mounting bracket. So if you put your mounting bracket on, you're going to have a hard time getting the wires down through here. So put your wiring harness on first. It's just a lot easier. And your crank sensor wire, water temp sensor, I think that's what that is, yeah. So we got everything on there. Well, we're ready to put this thing back in the vehicle now. So I got to go get the transmission done, so I'm going to go start working on that right now. I got to press the gears off that one shaft and start putting that thing back together. So we'll make another video on that. This is a complete assembly on this 7.3 powerstroke. It's rebuilt. It's done. So next step is to fire it up and see if she runs.